What if the most effective strategy for making a real impact at work wasn't in some famous business book? What if it was hiding in a single email you probably haven't even read? Well, today we're breaking down a brilliant two-pillar framework for influence that comes from exactly that. Let's dive in.
That's right. This entire strategy, this whole game plan, it comes from a short internal memo. It's like a digital message in a bottle, really. And it just goes to show that some of the most practical wisdom comes from the people on the ground who just know how to get stuff done.
Get this. This was the actual subject line of the email. Think about that for a second. It's the mission statement right there. The goal isn't just to be good at your job, it's to build a system so good, so effective that it becomes the new standard for everybody else.
I mean, we can all relate to this, right? You've got a fantastic idea, a much better way of doing things, but you just hit these walls, bureaucracy, department silos, or just that classic, this is how we've always done it inertia. It's got to be one of the most common frustrations in any job. Well, the strategy we're about to explore is the perfect antidote to that feeling.
So the person behind this email was a mentor of mine named Ed Hood. And by breaking down what he did, we can actually uncover a simple two-pillar strategy to make your way of working the new standard for your entire organization.
So who was this guy, Ed Hood? Well, he wasn't just some academic. Sure, he was director of graduate studies, and he'd already crushed it as a program coordinator. But what's really interesting is his background. He was a VP of banking at Wells Fargo, and he had experience in for-profit education. This tells you he gets it. He understands complex systems, he understands bottom lines, and he knows how to navigate those tricky corporate structures. The guy knows how to operate.
And his goal? Well, it was ambitious. He wanted to take the successful system he built and roll it out across all 5 graduate programs at the university. But you can't just order people to do that, right? He needed a playbook.
And that brings us to the very first pillar of his strategy. And honestly, it's the one that people overlook all the time: strategic communication. We're not just talking about sending a few emails here. This is about managing upwards and outwards with a real purpose.
Now, this communication playbook is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. First, he was proactive. No surprises for a supervisor, ever. Second, he reported with data. He didn't just say things were getting better, he proved it with metrics. That's how you build trust. And that trust leads directly to step 3, alignment. Because leadership was always in the loop, they became partners in his success, not roadblocks.
And this right here illustrates the difference perfectly. When you work in a silo, you're just running on assumptions. That leads to a total lack of buy-in, and it creates so much friction. But with strategic communication, you create clarity. And that clarity, it leads to alignment. And alignment gets you incredible support. Suddenly, you're not pushing a giant rock uphill all by yourself.
Okay, so communication gets you support from the top, but how do you get everyone else on board? Let's move to pillar number 2, which builds right on top of the first: coaching and alignment. This is where the strategy really hits the ground and starts to spread.
And here's the crucial part. Ed Hood didn't just dictate his system. He coordinated. He worked with the heads of the other programs, making them part of the solution. Then, he showed them the value by putting in place new, targeted programs. And maybe most importantly, he coached people. He wasn't just a manager, he was a mentor, building momentum by building people up. To make this really concrete, the memo even gives us some specific examples. He didn't just say, hey, let's improve enrollment. No, he helped create specific, valuable offerings like a museum administration track and an urban track. These proved his system wasn't just about some abstract idea of efficiency. It was about creating real, audience-focused results. It was the proof of concept.
Okay, so let's put this all together. You've got these 2 pillars, upward communication and horizontal coaching. When you combine them, they create this complete methodology for making real change happen.
So here's the big takeaway. Ed Hood's method is the art of working the system, not fighting against it. It's a powerful combination of 2 things: proactive communication to get leadership on your side and intentional coaching to bring your colleagues along for the ride. It's all about aligning and mentoring talent to create change from the inside out.
So, as we wrap up, forget about trying to change everything all at once. Instead, just think about this. What's the one conversation you can start today? Who is the one person you can coach? Because if Ed Hood's memo teaches us anything, it's that the biggest changes don't start with some grand, sweeping plan. They start with a single, strategic conversation.